morning, YouTube! Bow! What's up, guys? Today I'm super excited because I'm going to be fully reviewing the Nike React Infinity Run. Whew! Let's go.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart.
So with everything going on in the world, I've been working from home, so I have a little bit more time to get some extra miles in. And I hit 50 miles in the React Infinity Run this week, so I figured what better time than now to fully review it. The last version of a React shoe that I tried was the original Epic React. And let me tell you, this guy is a lot different. If you'd like to see some comparisons to the original Epic React, go watch my first run impressions video up there and do a little bit of comparing of the two. But anyway, the Nike React Infinity Run, such a mouthful, is supposed to be a hybrid between the Epic React series and the Structure 22, or just the Structure, which was a stability shoe. The Structure doesn't exist anymore because I'm pretty sure this replaced it in the lineup. Nike claims that the React Infinity Run helps to reduce injury, and I don't know about all that. But I will say that I'm not injured, and I'm going to talk about the rest of my experience with it. So if you're unfamiliar with my full reviews, let me give you a rundown. First I talk about the specs, then I go into the upper, the midsole, the outsole, and then my conclusions on the shoe. Then I rate it out of 5 stars, so if it's the best shoe that I've ever worn and I'm gonna wear it for the rest of eternity, I'm gonna give it 5 stars. And if it's the worst shoe I've ever worn and I never wanna put it on my foot again as long as I live, then it's gonna be 1 star. Then at the end, I'm gonna throw up a scream at the pros and the cons so you guys can get a visual idea of what I like and dislike. So with all that said, let's jump into the React Infinity Run. To infinity and beyond! So this shoe weighs about 9.6 ounces for my women's size 10.5, and for a women's size 8, it's around 8 ounces. It has an 8mm drop with 30mm of stack in the heel and 22 in the forefoot. And yes, I would say this shoe is pretty true to size. Nike is using a material in this upper called Flyknit Loft, which to me doesn't feel like traditional Flyknit at all. It feels a lot more like mesh, and that's because it is. According to Nike, Flyknit Loft is 3 layers of breathable mesh which help to keep you locked in. I have mixed feelings about this. The forefoot and the midfoot of the Infinity are fairly dialed in, but the heel is loose no matter what kind of sock I wear. It's really noticeable while I'm walking around or standing around before my run, and I feel it on the run, but it starts to fade away a little more over time. Still, I know that I'm not the only one who's complained about this, so I have to wonder if it has anything to do with this Flyknit Loft material. Another problem with this Flyknit Loft material is that it's not stretchy at all like regular Flyknit, and the lacing system on all Flyknit shoes is pretty bad, so you really can't tighten it down too well. It wasn't really a huge issue for me, but it's not all about me. It's about you too, and you might have a different foot size than me, foot shape than me, and need a little more customization. With all that said, I didn't have any issues with hot spots, blisters, breathability, anything like that, and I thank Nike for putting in a pull tab. The midsole of the React Infinity Run is all React foam, and there's 24% more of it according to Nike than there is in the Epic React 2. While I would say the cushioning is definitely there, it doesn't feel particularly soft or squishy. It's just protective. I don't think I feel a ton of response here either. What I do feel is that sweet rocker technology that rolls you forward into your next stride. Especially if I hold it like this, you can kind of see it. And that I really enjoyed. Once I got into a rhythm in the Infinity, it felt like I was on autopilot because of that rocker. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's just the perfect amount. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the Infinity is a hybrid kind of between a neutral shoe and a stability shoe. So there are some stability elements here. Okay, so when I first stepped into this shoe, it felt super weird to me. Honestly, it was just like hella uncomfortable and the buildup in the arch was super jarring. Now, I don't know if all stability shoes are like this because I don't really wear them, but I'll tell you that it feels pretty prominent for me in this shoe. But this was another case of once I started running and kind of got into a rhythm and a groove, I kind of stopped noticing those stability elements. And I would have to say that they kind of helped my stride. I do tend to overpronate and my arch collapses a little bit, so it's true, I could use some stability and sometimes I don't always take it. But that little bit of a higher arch mixed with that bumper around the midfoot and heel of the shoe, it kept my foot in check. The midsole also flares out in the forefoot and in the heel to give you a little more contact with the ground, and I appreciated that. I like a little bit of a wider platform, so thumbs up there. I also want to point out that I think this midsole is really durable and resilient and will give you a ton of miles. Nike is using strategically placed blown rubber in the Infinity React, or React Infinity Run, and the traction here is pretty darn good. And I do really like how they didn't cover the entire outsole with rubber. I think they could have potentially made it really stiff, maybe change the feel of the midsole, like I have seen in a lot of shoes recently. But I mean, the shoe still has a little bit of flex. It's not the most flexible, but it's good. It's got some grooves here. While the rubber and the amount of it probably make this shoe heavier than the Epic React, the traction on the Infinity is just way better. I've run on dry surfaces, wet surfaces, concrete, sand, grass, dirt, you name it, I've run in it in this shoe and it's held up so well every time. And the rubber barely looks like it has any wear on it at all. So I like this shoe. I don't love it, but I like it. Honestly, when I first lace them up and put them on my feet, I hate the way they feel. But once I start running, I really like them. And that's why I'm gonna give the Nike React Infinity Run 3 out of 5 stars. While I have no first-hand proof that this shoe actually reduces injury, it's a good solid daily trainer that will give you plenty of smooth miles. And it's great for those who want a little extra stability. I gotta knock it down a few points though for that weird sensation when you first put your foot in, this loose heel counter, and because for me, the React midsole is just okay. All right, so now let's throw up the screens with the pros and the cons. So for pros, the first one I have is this is a good looking shoe. I didn't touch on that yet, but I love the way it looks, really sharp. The rocker technology, the durable midsole and outsole, the stability elements, and that extra midsole foam. For cons, I have loose heel. It's sort of uncomfortable at first. The midsole is kind of meh, and that terrible Flyknit lacing system. The Nike React Infinity Run is $159.95 on runningwarehouse.com, which is pretty on par for Nike shoes. But if you use my code RUNHELLER in all caps, you can get 10% off of that. And I think they might even have a 25% off sale for this shoe and some others, so now is the time. Just click that Running Warehouse link down below in the description and pick up your own pair. It is an affiliate link, which just helps my channel, doesn't mean anything for you guys. But you know, I'd appreciate it. Well, that concludes my full review of the Nike React Infinity Run. We gotta start making shorter names for these shoes. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can be alerted every time I upload a new video. Woo! I have another video for you guys next week, but in the meantime, get out there if you can, and only if it's socially distanced. Get on the grind and don't forget to run like Heller. See you next time. Oh, and stay safe and stay healthy. If you guys are in need of a pick me up, go watch my video, Why Do We Run, that I released earlier in the week. I made it when I was feeling kind of bummed and uneasy about the current world situation. And it was therapeutic to make, so I'm hoping that it feels therapeutic to watch. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go do that.